Shalom and welcome to our new series. We're going to call this basically the Mazal series. God willing, that's what it's called. And this will be class number 1, it goes without saying. And the title for this class, Living, sorry I'm going to have to read it, I just don't want to make a mistake. The title is more important that you understand what this is going to be about. Living with your wisdom. And in parentheses, it means your name and your Mazal. Right? It's a bit complicated, sorry about that. But living with your wisdom, right? And kind of following through with that, that's your name and that is your Mazal. Right? My basic label on this type of series is my name work, or in other words, my soul Mazal work. You can find the information available for further instruction at soulmazal.com. Not to be confused with my other, let's say, Ger venues, Noahide venues, things like that. Soulmazal.com is its own thing. It's my Mazal and Kabbalah teaching. This will be a series. I'm not sure if we'll do it every week. It will certainly be a series to come back to if we go away from it. How many classes? That remains to be seen. Let me just tell you what this is. And there will be a full introduction here now. The Mazal series will be predicated on this book. It's called Otzer HaMazal. Right? Kind of in the vulgar format, it's called Encyclopedia Le'inyane Mazal. Right? Encyclopedia is not a biblical word. So Otzer HaMazal, the treasury. It's not bad. It's not a good word, treasury. What does Otzer mean? And really easy word.
Storehouse.
Yeah, this is the storehouse of Mazal. And I like what it says on the cover. Hakol toloi b'Mazal v'afil sefer Torah b'heichel. Everything is, again, toloi doesn't mean bound, contingent in Mazal, and even the Torah scroll in the sanctuary in the temple would be bound, contingent, placed upon, governed by Mazal. What does Mazal mean? That's going to be another issue we'll get to. But my point is, I want to get through this book. I don't know how long, how many classes. I like to do it in one shot, but unfortunately 1,000 pages is a bit taxing to do it in one shot. So we'll do what we can. I hope to do it weekly, but I get sidetracked with the other classes that come in the series, like the Gear Light series, all my gear work, so bear with me. I would like to do Mazal every day. It's just there are other demands in the Jewish year than that. Okay, another introduction point. This book is a sister book, that's my language on that, to the Vilna Gaon's famed Kol HaTorah. That's my connection, that's not an official connection. The Vilna Gaon is, as far as I'm concerned, he's written many things, but again, as far as my personal portion of Torah is concerned, I like to focus on the Vilna Gaon's commentaries of Mishlei, Proverbs, and Song of Songs, Shir Shir. Right? It's kind of like a unit, it's a set unit. He has consistent themes going in these works. And with that said, Kol HaTorah is his, again, the translation's a bit rough. He calls it the Shulchan Aruch of the Gula. Right? It's really not a translation of Shulchan Aruch. But what it means is, again, it's like an Otzer, a treasury or a storehouse of all matters of the redemption, particularly Mashiach ben Yosef and his adversary Armilus, just for you. That book is predicated on a verse in the 2nd chapter of Song of Songs, the Kol HaTorah Nishmeh B'Artzenu, the Kol HaTorah, the turtle dove, the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. It's a verse about redemption in Song of Songs. Vilna Gaon then made a proper sefer or book encapsulating that aspect of redemption, and he made it his official treasury storehouse of matters of redemption, the beginning of the redemption, Mashiach ben Yosef. One of the most neglected parts, perhaps, in the entire Torah and our eschatology in Judaism. With that said, one of the main elements of Kol HaTorah, I debated if I should teach Kol HaTorah, and I would love to, But that could be also a monotonous endeavor, taxing on the eyes and ears to listen to an hour-long class of Kol Torah. It's more of an in-depth personal study to get into. But one of the main premises of Kol Torah is everybody in Israel, all four houses, Kohen, Levi, Israel, Ger, must know their names. You must know the meaning of your name, because your name, as we're going to find out today, is what's called Shlucho Shel Makom. It was sent by God. Right? You are actually not you. You are a name, a mission sent into this world to achieve a Mazal act. In fact, with that said, Hakol Toloi b'Mazal, everything is placed in Mazal, even the Sefer Torah in the Heichel. Don't read that. Say even your name. Right? So your name is Mazal. If I happen to be in the bookstore and Bob comes in, and I notice Bob, and I'm aware of Bob, and I'm saying, why am I so aware of Bob? That's a Mazal moment. You need to now analyze who and what is Bob's mission to the David Katz program, or whatever type of configuration you can achieve in that amount of time. The faster you can process all the knowledge you have of your name, their name, and everything sent into the store at that time to achieve Shlucho Shel Makom, sent by God, right? If you pay attention, there was a book on the bookshelf that said, what about Bob? Right? So here's Bob, there's a book, and we never notice these things. Never notice it. Divine providence is very profound if you notice it. So to make our little hypothetical scheme, Bob walks in, all of a sudden I'm saying, why is this a divine moment? There was a book on the bookshelf called What About Bob? Somebody else was in the store and they were saying how they were going swimming and little Johnny was bobbing up and down in the water. All these little hints in vulgarized divine providential sequences are happening to you at every given moment. Your job, when you're aware of it, is to analyze, okay, what about Bob? That would be your task. But in all honesty, or seriousness, that's Mazal. It's always there. Mazal is the emanating dynamic wisdom of reality that you swim in. You are never out of wisdom. Your name doesn't stop or take a time out. You are always on the go. You're always on the clock. You are always being called upon. We sleep through our lives, never realizing our mission is being achieved, whether we like it or not. If you are unaware of Bob in the store, he's still going to say what he says, the book's still there, and you're still doing it. And if you're not aware of what you're doing, Bob will come over and say, hey, Dave, how's it going? And you're going to give him his message, whatever he needs to hear from the David Katz program. Now, you can either be active with your free will, or you can be asleep. So if you're asleep, God might give you some prickly endeavors. You might upset Bob, and then you're getting in an argument with Bob, and you're saying, why is Bob so horrible? Why do I have to fight Bob? I was happy being quiet in the bookstore till Bob came and ruined my life. This is when we say life is horrible. Why me? Okay, because you chose to be asleep, so God got you to give Bob his zets through a lack of cooperation. Now, you could have made peace with Bob, but that comes from you. You have to become alive in your vessel. When you realize, I am destined to have an encounter with Bob. So now the first thing you do, if you were not awake, you're going to hit Bob with some kind of insult or whatever. That's how God will bring it out. It's called din, right? It's just mankind is kind of in a natural roges, angry, agitated state, where our first inclination is, you're probably here to bother me. Our job is to sweeten the din or judgment and make mercy. Make peace. Everyone's at war. Everyone's a king. Everyone has an ego. You're in my world. I'm here to pay for my books first. Who do you think you are? Who gives you the right? What, do you think you own this place? I've been coming here for 30 years. Who do you think you are? I remember the last thing you said when you were here. You insulted me. Right? All these things. You said, I insulted you? Right? You were insulting him when you didn't even realize. You said all people named Bob should go to jump off a cliff. He said, my name's Bob, thank you very much. we see we have no idea what we're doing in the Abishur's plan of creation. You are insulting and hurting people only because Bob deserved to get a Zetz on his head for being named Bob. And he says, why did you name me Bob? Because God loves you. You say, if you love me, then why do you hit me? Because you don't listen to me, Bob. Round and round and round and round it goes. That's wisdom. When you gain a grasp of your wisdom, stop being the victim. Bob needs to start being Bob and find out, what does Bob mean? Get on the internet and look it up. What does the name Bob mean? Then you say, David, why are you always falling into the Bob program? So what does David mean? And you look it up, and when you're ready to encounter Bob, or whatever it is in your reiterating patterns of your life, they're always reiterating. If you look into it with a keen eye, it might not be literally the name Bob, it could be what Bob represents. Let's say Bob means black chair, only because I'm looking at a black chair. Bob means black chair. So there's other things, let's say, that mean black chair. A judge sits in a black chair. Why do the judges always come down on me? The principal of the school has a black chair. Why is he always putting me in detention as a kid? Ruined my childhood, and now I have these issues. I mean, this is where people get complexes, right? My mother-in-law had a black chair. So whatever it is, everything, all these potential antagonists in our lives don't need to be, right? For whatever your Mazal pattern is that's inherent in your name. Now, you become aware of the David Katz program, and I say, okay, number one, let's assume Bob's not bad. I don't know why. I know he's willing to attack me, and I am not looking for a fight. Even if it's a small thing, right? Bob wants a small talk, and I don't like small talk. All right, these are my issues, right? Forget Bob. I have issues. Let's say I'm antisocial. I don't want to talk to him. I feel like I do own the store. Whatever my issue is, right? People just bother people, right? We know that. We live in society, and we have the plight of man. When I gain control of my own self, negate my ego, bittul, right, and the self-negation, I say, David Katz, grow up, stop being a baby about it, face Bob, shake his hand, have a nice day, have a nice chat, whatever it may be. Then you just turned din to mercy. Right? The judgment became merciful because now you're aware. Now you're aware. And you're going to start listening to what's going on in the store. Not to eavesdrop. You're aware. If you were listening with ayin hara, that's called judging. Now you're just back to judging Bob. Right? How can I get Bob to trip up so I can have ammo to attack him if he attacks me? Don't think it like that. That's war. Listen to be aware without judgment. Simply perceive and don't continue any further. Don't place judgment. Just be aware. You're not even processing what he's saying. You're just looking for the cue. And God will give you the cue. Because then Bob's going to say, hey, I came into the store is there a copy of World of the Gare here? I say, wow, Bob reads my book. How cool is Bob? I thought Bob was anti-Gare, blah, 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 blah. And it turns out he's looking for the book. Hi, Bob. I wrote the book. That's my book right there in the bookshelf. Really? You wrote that? Yes, I did. Well, because we just started a group and we're talking. All of a sudden, Bob's your best friend. Then you go and tell all your friends, man, I'm sorry about Bob. I was treating him bad. Turns out he has a group in town. He's a tour guide. Didn't even know it. He brings Noahides through the whole town. Who knew? Who knew Bob was this great of a guy? Because you are so shallow, you are judging Bob because he wasn't as good as you. Right? Bob wears black pants, and you say, guys, I wear black pants is like the black chair, and that's good enough for me to hate people like Bob. You have shtuskeit. You have nourishkeit, shtuskeit, right? You're shallow, and you judge. It's called your Yetzer Hara, which is not indigenous to you. Your name is not that. You have a name, therefore you have Mazal, therefore you have wisdom, and we're going to say in the book, you have a minister on high, a Sar Shel Mala, watching you, sending you your name through the process called Shlucho Shel Makom. Bob was sent to you, the books were sent to you, the bookstore was sent to you just for you. They opened the store just for you. They knew you'd go there, right? The spiritual entities that be and that make up our creation, and your name was sent to be you, and all you have to do is simply accept your fate. You are you, you're in the store, there's Bob, we have this whole situation, accept it. Don't fight it. Let it be. Let it permeate. Let it come to you. That's really called maturation. You are maturing within seconds. The wisdom is coming. It's like you're going through a metamorphosis, like the Incredible Hulk, right? He was just a guy that, right? That's you, spiritual you, inside. You don't realize it, but soon when you hit your mark, just by simply calm down, stop being angry, let it just be. Bob has a right to exist, and so do you, and it's not a crime. We're going to get into that in these books here in the next segment. Just keep that in mind. Two people with one common goal. That's a vulgar term. Let's call it. The real thing is one. Shtei Mazal ke'echad. Two guys with one Mazal. But they had two guys with the same place, dealing with the same stuff. They don't know how to work it out. So it looks like a fight. We're going to get in that in a minute. And to close this segment, we're going to say that when you go through your metamorphosis and you start to come into your vessel and your feet touch down, you're in reality, you're ready to go, that's when Hashem says, action! Just like the world of Asiya, action. It will always be a divine providence moment. Hashgacha pratis will happen. Either somebody will say something, you'll find something, you will realize something, a chiddush will come to you. It is 100% a wisdom as such. There's a reason why you were bothered when somebody walked in. Right? And your Yetzer Hara said, hey, kill him! That was for you to say, wake up! Is it any different when your alarm goes off in the morning? You want to throw your alarm and break it through the wall. Everybody does. But when you come to, you just realize, it's time to wake up. Just turn it off. It's not here to attack you. The morning is not your enemy. But you think it is. Right? You wake somebody up, they're ready to kill you. But when they come to, they're okay. So you're basically asleep, walking around, and when you're woken up, and you have your moda'ani moment, and you wash your hands moment in the store, and you got rid of your filth, you're now a pure soul. You can receive the light from God, and you can then achieve the mission and goals of your name. With that said, that is the introduction to Mazal class number 1, based on Kol HaTorah, finding out your name, your Mazal, your wisdom, so that you can do your part in perpetuating the creation and ultimately bringing us closer to the redemption. And with that said, that's what this class is about. That's what the series is about. You realizing you are shluchus shel makom, you are sent by God. Thank you.